Alright, hello YouTube, this is ahjteam. I have a scenario here. This is something new that I have never tried before, but if you like this kind of content, please write it down in the comments below and maybe I will do something like this in the future also. So I have a scenario for you. You will be doing live sound, you have a small venue, you have 16 channel board that has 6 aux sends. They are all flippable so that the aux can be pre or post fader. And all the inputs are mono, they are not stereo channels. And you have a 7-piece band, so everyone will not get their own wedge or listening system. The band has 2 electric guitars, 1 acoustic guitar, 2 keyboards, bass, 6-piece drum set, which means drum set that has 4 toms, 3 channels of backing track, 1 is click and 2 is stereo. The click will not be played through the PA. And then you have 4 vocals and effects returns for reverb and delay. Both delay and reverb are mandatory for the band's sound, so they will have to be there. The lead singer has an in-ear that he must use. You have 6 auxes and 2 will go to the reverb and delay. And like I said, band has 7 members, so not everyone will get their own wedge. So the question is, how do you set up the band? With what? In what order? In the board? What of those inputs need phantom power? Write down numbers from 1 to 16 for the inputs and 1 to 6 for the outputs. Right? What will be there, what transducer will you use, and does it need phantom power? And for the outputs, will it be a wedge or an in-ear or an effects, and will it be pre or post fader? Please pause the video now and then return when you are done writing down. Alright, so here's my scenario. I will start with the outputs so it's easier to explain this. So all the monitoring outputs will be pre-fader, so the faders will not affect them. Then the effect sense will be post-fader. For the first, I would give the drummer an in-ear system that has multiple inputs, so that he would get his own feed from the board, and then he would route the click right into his in-ear device, so that it will not take space from the board. And if this is not possible, then you would get a mono backing track. And then for the band, I would give side fills, so one on the left side of the stage and one on the right side of the stage. Then for the input number 4, I would give the in-ear to the lead singer. Then for the outputs number 5 and 6, I would give the reverb and delay ascent. And for the inputs, I have pretty much always started with drums, then bass, guitars, keyboards, vocals, then the effects returns. So first I would do the bass drum. It usually always needs amplification in almost any scenario. Then depending on the size of the venue and the style of the music, I would either mic up the snare, the floor tom, or put an overhead that catches the entire kit. The floor tom would be only when it's like a really loud band, and the snare for most applications, and the overhead pretty much only to like jazz. If I would use an overhead, I would use either a pencil condenser that's cardioid shape, or then I would use a large diaphragm condenser, and they both need phantom power. But for the snare, I would just use a SM57, and for the kick, you can use almost anything like Beta 52, D112 from AKG, you know. Plenty of choices. Then for the backing tracks, like I said, the click feed goes straight into the drummer's in-ear and won't be going to the board. Then the backing track left and right would go to inputs number 3 and 4. Then for the bass, I would use a DI box or then the DI output from the amp. If it's a DI box, it would need phantom power if it's an active DI box. Then for the guitars, I would do the acoustic guitar with the DI box and then the guitars with miking up the amp with an SM57 or some other basic dynamic mic. Then for the keyboards, like I said, there's 2 of them, so it doesn't mean that it's a stereo keyboard. It means there are 2 keyboards, so it has kind of like 4 outputs. But if the keyboard player has his own small mixer where he has summed all the keyboards into one, I would just take the stereo out from that, or then I would do the keyboards as mono, which would then need a DI box. Then the vocals, you know, basics SM57, so inputs number 11 through 14 would be that, and then the reverb and delay as mono. So if we go through the list again, bass drum, snare drum, or overhead or floor tom, then backing track left, backing track right, bass, guitar, then electric guitar 1, electric guitar 2, acoustic guitar, keyboard 1, keyboard 2, or keyboard left, keyboard right, vocals 1, vocals 2, vocals 3, vocals 4, effects, reverb, and delay return. Anyway, that is my scenario. How much frustration did this kind of mind game give you? Anyway, write down in the comments below if you would have done it differently, or if you have any other questions or comments. Thank you for watching, and make it music.